Welcome back to LBG Reviews. Please be sure to like and subscribe because it really does help me out. So, today we'll be talking about Under the Island, which is a role-playing game, adventure game with a modern aesthetic that is also heavily inspired by The Legend of Zelda. Now, before we talk about more about this game, I have to preface with saying that this video is going to be a little shorter. Still working on prepping videos for my vacation, which, by the way, I'm recording this one right after the one from last week. So if you haven't watched that one, go check it out. But also, in order for me to really dive into this game, we got to dive into my history with the Legend of Zelda series first. See, my family owned Nintendo consoles in when they first hit, basically not quite when they first hit the markets, but like my parents had an original NES, or my family had an original NES. They had an SNES, which my brother still has. And like basically it was when the GameCube came out was when we veered away from Nintendo stuff. I've talked about this a little bit in the past, but even back then, we really didn't touch The Legend of Zelda because it wasn't really built for taking turns with your family quite like playing, say, Mario was, where it's like, oh hey, you lost a life, or hey, you beat a level, hand it over to your brother, or hand it over to mom or dad. Let them have their turn, you know? The Legend of Zelda games really weren't built with that kind of mindset or they aren't really compatible with that kind of mindset to a degree. So, I really didn't get to experience the Legend of Zelda series until I was an adult, because I was out of high school for a while at that point, attending college. It was 2019. Thanks to some state programs, I'd managed to land an internship at a Christian radio station. My first paycheck, or first or second paycheck, because I had to save up a little bit, I think. I can't remember. But basically, from this Christian radio station paycheck, I was able to buy a Nintendo Switch, and Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey were the first games that I really played on it that weren't for free, you know? And so because of that, Breath of the Wild was my first experience with Zelda games. I was kind of loosely aware of them. I was loosely aware of the original Legend of Zelda structure that people were big fans of. I was aware of the fact that people weren't too happy with Breath of the Wild when it came out because of how much it deviated. But over the years, I have gone back, thanks to like Nintendo Switch Online and other things. I've managed to go back and I've managed to play through some of the older games. Have not beat most of them, which, to be fair, I haven't beaten most games that I've played. But anyways, I have gone back. I've really appreciated them. I've really enjoyed them. I still do prefer more open-ended games, though. But because of that, though, I can really appreciate what Under the Island is going for. In terms of accessibility settings, it doesn't really have any, but also in its own way it kind of does, because there are certain things you can do to make the game slightly easier on yourself. Because similar to like a lot of the old Legend of Zelda games, you're able to bind what action is bound to what button. Because like I've been playing the game exclusively with a controller in my hand, so like I could, like, let's say I'm running low on health, I'm exploring a dungeon, trying to get to the end of it, but I'm running low on health. There's this ramen shop that you can buy ramen from in the game, and you can bind the ramen similar to like how you would bind a health potion in a lot of games. You can eat your ramen mid-dungeon based off with a single button press. And like that kind of gameplay, I do think lends itself to some accessibility things. Because let's say maybe you aren't the best at being able to swivel your thumb around, you know? The game allows you to pause and unbind what you have set to that button and bind another thing to that button. So you could be going from, alright, I've got my ramen in this button, and it's like, oh hey, but I've encountered this thing that needs this other item. Okay, pause the game, unbind the ramen, switch to that item, and use the item, switch back if you still need the ramen, you know? Like, that to me is kind of an accessibility feature in a way. And yeah, like, I just really enjoy this game. I enjoy its concepts. The story is really clever. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about Under the Island. Alright, now, when I made the video about Mugenics, or the video that came after it, I said that we'd probably have a video about Pokopia. I think now is when that video might come out, or it might have come before this one. I really don't know. Scheduling things right now is hard. Got vacation coming up. My grandfather just lost his dog. Like, life is kind of a stressful mess right now. So, I'll see you guys for whatever the next video is. Alright, bye.